when you talk about frequencies here, is it like, see, one of the things I'm fascinated with is the concept of light. And, we see that battle in books, in movies, the battle between light and darkness. Is frequency like light, or how would you describe frequency?
Here's the best way I've been able to describe it. And again, this is trying to use words to explain things that there's no words to explain.
Right, yeah.
But I'm
sorry.
I'm in my past, I was an avid studier of the Bible and of Scripture. And when you study Jacob's ladder, essentially, or existentially, is the frequency scale. Oh. At the top of Jacob's ladder is God, our Creator, and at the bottom is the opposite of God, the antithesis of God. Some might call the opposite of God Satan,
right,
or devil, or whatever. Uh-huh. But here's the funny thing: if God created Jacob's ladder, He created the bottom and the top. Mm. And so God knew that for us to grow, we had to get distance from Him. The same way that in this world, sometimes our kids can't grow up till they get a little distance from us. It's just a fact. Mm-hmm. And now, does it need to be that big that we could move from God? No. But it's the same principle. And for us to grow, we have to get some distance. So we have to sink down Jacob's ladder. But what's really neat, though, is our daily choices. Every single choice we make, from the air we breathe, where we live, what we choose to eat or consume, whether it's with our mouth, our eyes, or our ears, because we consume with all three.
Yes.
Those choices will either raise us up the scale or push us down the scale. And if we're not sure if it's raising us or lowering us, it's lowering us. There's no question. Wow. So if we're like, no, this decision just has me treading water. No, it's sinking you, period. Mm. You're either raising your frequency or you're lowering your frequency. And if you want to learn how to raise your frequency, come from the perspective of love, period. Mm. Love those around you, love your enemies, love those who cut you off, and see it for what it is. When someone cuts me off before I died, I used to give them a special finger and sometimes wave it at them and see if they'd pull over and I could cuss them out or whatever. And now when, since I died, someone cuts me off, I literally am like, look at me there. That's me right over there. Mm-hmm. And it is. We're all different fingers on one hand. Mm-hmm. And for one of us to hurt another, we're only hurting ourselves. Mm-hmm. We can't hurt someone else. And it's so funny in this life because everyone has this thing where I can't forgive this, I can't forgive that. And somehow we think that gets to the other person. And it's kind of like drinking poison and hoping someone else gets sick. Mm. And when we hurt someone, when we do anything, when we don't forgive someone, we're only drinking poison. It only hurts us.
Wow.
It does, and existentially, it's going to hurt them too because we're all one together. But it hurts us first, and more than anyone.
Wow, that is a huge, huge takeaway. I love that you see this connection between all of us.
We're all connected. Yeah.
So, is that one of the things that you learned? Is that we're all connected as as children of God, or is there a better term for
we're
it?
A quilt work.
A quilt
of God. And for one thread to be angry at another is to still damage the quilt.
I love that. Because we're all part of the same masterpiece.
We are. And to try to discredit one thread because it's in the middle, it's not seen, is to discredit the whole thing. Mm. We all play our sacred divine part, every single one of us. Wow. Even the ones that think they're not making a difference in this world, going around and being a loving person, you are broadcasting that love frequency. You are changing the world, period. Wow. You don't have to go build towers and bridges or be a politician, or you don't have to go do these grandiose things to change the world. You can change it by just being a loving person, period.
Wow. And that starts by changing yourself.
You gotta love yourself before you can love anyone else. Wow. You can never truly love anyone outside you until you love what's inside first.
Wow.
Because love is a mirror.
A mirror? That's an interesting thought.
So I help people that have kind of life obstacles and such, and I run into a lot of people that are having marital problems. The number one thing I hear with people with marital problems is they just don't make me happy. And I go, you're unhappy and you think somewhere you're going to find someone else that's going to make you happy. But here's the thing. The only answer to that unhappiness or hunger is you. You have to make you happy first before you could ever feel someone else make you happy.
That's true. That's very, very
And it starts with love. You got to love yourself. You got to love yourself first.
Wow. That is such a powerful concept. Now, why don't you bring us back around to when you came back?
Right as I was noticing the building, and I'd been through the experience of like all the grass and trees and flowers and river and water, my guide, Drake, came to me and he got really close to me and he gave me this heart hug. And it's kind of what we're emulating when we hug each other here. Mm-hmm. But what we do in that form is literally our cores, our centers, come together and become one for a few seconds. Mm-hmm. And when we do that, we just get so full of this love mm-hmm. of our Creator. Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful thing. And when he got done, he pulled away and said, this is going to be really hard. I promise you it's going to be worth it, though.